Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. I'm happy with my Switch. And why, let me ask you, why do you think the Switch 2 has slowed down in sales? I have a theory, right? And I have a theory because, I was just thinking what the Switch has become to me in 2025. Let me say, for me, the Switch has been a transition console. Before this, I was just fully a physical media guy, when it came to my video games. Switch was games on the go, and what it allowed me to do is feel more comfortable with digital downloads, right? I have more digital downloads on the Switch than on any other console, right? Probably second would be Xbox, but I use the Game Pass for that, so I don't even download that many games. But on the Switch specifically, because I take it on my business trips and stuff, whenever I'm stuck in an airport, I'll go on the store and see what retro games are on sale and I'll buy them. Now, forever, the mantra of Nintendo has been, you don't need great technology to have fun with video games. You don't have to have the latest and greatest. You just need to have good games. And I think they have become victims of their own success with the Wii. Because, for example, for the games that I play, guys, great graphics are not necessary. They're not, right? I mean, I'm playing a lot of retro games, remakes, remasters. For example, here, I'll give you a list of the games that I have, right? What's on my rotation right now? I have Astral Chain, I have Donkey Kong, Scramble, Bioshock, Black Widow, and Mother Russia. And then I'm also playing Game Boy Advance, on the service. I mean, does that require great processing power? Not really. They're all, pretty much older games. And I don't need to have a great, I don't need the Steam Deck, for example, to play some of these games. And when you think about the Switch 2, is there a game on the Switch 2 that you could say, hey, I'm going to buy the Switch 2 just to play this game. This is the system seller, right? Because now you have that, you have to weigh that decision. I mean, I'm completely happy with the games I have on the Switch. What game am I going to buy that is just really enticing me to say I have to play this on a Switch 2? None so far, right? There's no console exclusives that you're going to say, oh my gosh, I really need to play this. The one that was going to make me pull the trigger, and I said this in a video before, is like I was waiting for Metroid, Metroid 4, because it had been developing and has been in development for such a long time. We all know the story. But with that amount of time in development, that game should have been a 10. Should have been a 10, and nobody's giving it a 10. I mean, people really like it or don't like it, but it's like an 8.5 at best. And the marketing of having music behind a paywall where you have to go pay, $39.99 for an Amiibo, whatever it is, to listen to the full game music is absolutely nuts. It's just nuts. So you have this thing where, and I'm not saying that the Switch 2 isn't great hardware. I bought them as gifts, and I could see, the improvement in quality and the hardware and whatever, but the games aren't there. The games aren't there. So if the games aren't there, what is it that's incentivizing anybody to go spend that kind of money? When it's all said and done, if you want to buy a couple of new games and the Switch and the mic and camera, everything else, why are you going to spend over up to $700 for what? What is it that you're going to play? Nothing. And that's what you see reflected in consumers' choices right now. That's why the sales have dropped, because there isn't a game. I'm not saying there couldn't be a game, and I don't want to come across as somebody who hates Nintendo. I'm a stockholder. I want them to succeed. But with all the challenges the market has with RAM, hardware, and everything else, right? The what consumers are facing with inflation and what have you, things are getting better, right? But up to this point, most of the year, these people have, most consumers have had to contend with these situations. Nobody's running out there to spend that kind of money. Whether, and if you really want great performance, there's other consoles you can go to, right? But they're the victims of their own marketing, of their own success. Yes, you don't need the ultimate hardware in order to play great fun games. And I'm completely satisfied with this, and I don't see anything, right, in the horizon where I have to say, I have to play that game, right? And everybody has different choices, right? There's different games, for example, the PlayStation 5. What would make me buy that? Death Stranding 2 would make me buy that, right? But that's just my choice. There's other great games on there that people would buy the console for. But you can't say the same for the Switch too. It just, you can play them to a lesser degree on the Switch. And is that improvement in graphics worth that kind of money? That's the judgment call, and I don't think it is. And they haven't put any exclusive, and it has to be an exclusive game that will make you buy that. But right now, they know if they make an exclusive game, they're going to miss out on so many customers on the Wii that they have to put it out. I'm sorry, on the Wii, on the Switch, that they have to put it out on the Switch and the Switch 2 at the same time. And that really is the problem. I mean, what game are you going to make? What AAA game are you going to make that you're just going to leave on the Switch 2? You're just going to leave it there, right? And forgo the sales. Over 100 million consoles out there of Switch consoles. They're in a catch-22, right? They have to put these games out on both consoles, and most customers are satisfied with their Switches, and the games aren't anything to write home about. I mean, an 8.5 is not going to drive people to buy the Switch 2 in great numbers. And, even loyalists. I own every single console except for the Virtual Boy. I bought anything that's released in America. I own. I love the products. I love the games. But the new direction the company is taking and how they appear to be just money hungry, money centric. It's not about the players. Forget about the other mantras. Yeah, we told you you don't need great hardware to play great games, but buy this for the highest price possible, and the games are going to be the most expensive possible. It's just not a really great selling point for the masses, for the Nintendo fan, for the avid Nintendo fan that needs to collect and what have you. Sure. But I can tell you with a Switch, my collection of Switch games isn't that big because it has become my biggest digital library, second only to Steam. Right? But for portable stuff, like I said, when I'm on business trips, I'll pop up a game. Oh, I want to play Scramble again. I want to play King of Fighters. Some from old school. I buy it for $7 while I'm waiting at the airport. And it's great. It has been great. But those are the kinds of games that I play, and I think you're seeing that reflected in the market, that a lot of customers are making my same choice. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a game that they will produce that will make me change my mind. There could be. But right now, I just don't see it on the horizon. What about you guys? Did you buy Switches? I bought them as gifts, but I don't have them for my own. But did you buy any? I don't know. I haven't seen anything in 2026 that's going to make me change my mind. I'm really happy with my Switch, and I'm going to keep on buying, the sale games on my Switch for $2-3. They're great deals out there. It's all about the economy, man. All right, humans, I will catch you on the next one. You guys let me know what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're really cool, join the channel. Take care.